Tim, welcome to Watch You Want and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Omega Seamaster Professional Diver Chronograph Tritone in titanium, 18 karat rose gold, and, wait for it, tantalum. This watch, 41.5 millimeters, tri-metallic, represents actual inventory in stock and available for immediate purchase and delivery on our retail website, watchyouwant.com. And if you like getting the latest news, views, and reviews in video format, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. Now, I've already done one showcase of this watch, but I made some lighting changes to my light box and some adjustments to my iPhone to show the color contrasts and the color richness to better effect. So bear with me, some of this is going to be familiar territory, but you're going to see this watch like you've never seen it before on this channel. Now, on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see it's got the classical Bond watch fit. 41.5 millimeters, it has that beveled lug look that's been a signature of Omega Professional watches, both Seamaster and Speedmaster, since the mid-1960s. So although my watch is small, the fit is good. Now the watch is tall, you can see it's nice and thick, with a broad, almost cantilevered tantalum bezel. Check out that metal contrast with the titanium case. So it's not necessarily a watch to play well with a tight dress cuff, but with a watch this flamboyant, exuberant, and unique, this isn't one to hide under a sleeve. This is a watch to be seen. It is an ergonomic winner, however, thanks to a compact set of lugs that barely span beyond the actual diameter or the round portion of the case, and one of the best bracelets in the business. Now, this was part of the comeback generation of Omega Seamasters. Omega really lost its way as a watchmaker during the quartz crisis of the late 70s to mid-1980s, and it was reestablishing its credibility as a luxury watchmaker in the early 90s. With the so-called James Bond generation of Seamaster Professionals, mission accomplished. Now, while you're familiar with the version on Pierce Brosnan's wrist, the matte blue dial and the stainless steel, this one, although very much Bond exotic, is a little bit too flamboyant for James itself. This is a watch for a Bond villain. Not Ernesto Blofeld. He'd wear something genuinely megalomaniacal. Think Patek Philippe Sky Moon Tourbillon, or maybe a 5216. And not Auric Goldfinger. He'd go straight 18 karat, all up. This watch is for someone complex, deadly, raffish, flamboyant. Emilio Largo of Thunderball. This is the Largo watch. So let's say you're Largo and you're on the Disco Volante and you're taking some dame hostage and you want to know, do I have the best bracelet of the early 1990s? In fact, you do. Now, this 5-link design was splendid in stainless steel, but the bottom line is the tritone richness and complexity of this example takes the ergonomic soundness of the watch to the next level. It basically takes everything that was supple and comfortable, flexible and secure about the stainless steel original and elevates it to borderline outrageous. You can see the brushed gunmetal titanium on the outside. You can see the richness of the red gold flanking those inserts of ultra-dense tantalum. And again, because of the changes I've made to my lighting setup, you can really see it now. Each element reads as a separate metal, not just a separate physical part. And you can see the continued contrast as the bracelet flows up into the integrated end piece. That gorgeous, rich, almost blue metal that's tantalum right here, abutting the 18 karat rose gold bezel insert and the titanium case. You've got 4 crowns, each one fit for a king, that really add almost ornamental elegance to the exterior of the case. And while I normally find the helium release valve on these watches to be something of an extraneous novelty, fun, a great conversation point, yes, but they don't serve much of a purpose beyond that for those who aren't diving in a bell. Now, with the rose gold element, I have something that really provides a visual balance to the crowns on the 3 o'clock side, and also just a little bit more jewelry, just a little bit more flair. Aesthetically, it takes on a new dimension. Now, I've mentioned that the bracelet was one of the best of its era, and it remains one of the best today. Excellent is excellent. Human anatomy doesn't change that much in 20 years. But I want to emphasize that the quality, deployant, trigger-actuated clasp that defined that generation of Bond Seamasters, and is generally considered to be the piece that forced Rolex to rethink its stamped oyster clasps, is retained here in a beautiful brushed titanium. Now, you still have that milled-out solidity. You still have all the substance to the swing arms themselves, as well as the clasp body, and, much to my pleasure, we retain that beautiful milled-out dive extension, which I always like to call out as the ultimate accessory for inlanders who live in very cold climates. Not just useful for extending the clasp over a dive suit. If you wear heavy winter coats while operating the snowblower, thick sweaters, if you want your watch to wear over the sleeve rather than under the sleeve, you're going to use this all the time. Again, especially in cold weather, especially in heavy weather gear. I know I did. When I had this watch in New Hampshire, I probably popped that extension 5 times a week during the winters of 2002 to 2006. A fantastic piece. Again, just as crisp today in this example as it was back in '94 when this model debuted. And it had a very short production run. In addition to looking like no Seamaster before or since, thanks to the exquisite trimetallic combination, it was only made from '94 to '96, so comparatively few of these were made. It was the flagship of the line, and it was far more expensive in its day than the standard Bond Seamaster. So when you combine the complication of the chronograph and the expense that entailed with the complexity of assembling this tritone bracelet, bezel, and case, not many of these were made. This was a price point at which Omega wasn't quite set up to compete at the time, so although this watch helped to make its name, very few of them are ever going to be seen in the wild, and the owner of this watch can enjoy having an iconic Omega that's simultaneously a needle in a haystack sighting, the equivalent of seeing a supercar in Ohio. This is something that is exquisite, is always going to raise eyebrows, is always going to draw compliments. This thing has the visual signature of an Hublot, but it has the class of that classic Bond Seamaster aesthetic. And it continues on the dial, because you can see that all of the elements are nicely color keyed to the tritone itself. Now there is that classic Seamaster wave of the Bond generation of watches, and you can see it to good effect in this shot as I get the reflection, sort of the pattern of waves that moves horizontally across the dial. This one has a little bit more of a metallic reflective quality than the traditional matte blue James Bond Seamaster, the time-only Seamaster Professional. But you've got that contrast, and you've also got the added elements of the chapter rings of the sub-registers in a complementary rose gold that's keyed nicely to those elements on the exterior, but also to the tropical lume elements of the dial and the rose gold hands at center. This is an upscale piece. This is a tropical exotica watch. This is a watch for Miami Beach. This is a watch for the Sunset Strip in LA. This is something for the French Riviera. Again, it's flamboyant, but with the mix of metals, it's not so over the top that you can't take it seriously or wear it with a straight face, although I can't imagine wearing it without a smile. The little elements of color, rose gold side, the tropical lume elements, the red dots outboard of the hour indices on the chapter ring, the little sub-register hands, and including the chronograph seconds, add a little bit of elan, a little bit of a fun-loving sense of occasion to this watch, which is so exuberant, which is so much fun to wear, and, I must say, guaranteed to bring a smile even to the face of a Bond villain. Not a wicked smile, but a smile of genuine joy. Now, the nice thing about this watch is it also features a tried-and-true chronometer-rated Valjoux 7750-based chronometer chronograph caliber. So you've got automatic winding, you've got hacking seconds, so when you pull the crown it stops the balance, you can synchronize the watch to the second to a reference timer, befitting a COSC certified Swiss chronometer movement. So not only is this watch precise, but being a Valjoux 7750 based movement of the pre-coaxial generation, it is bomb-proof tough. Again, that seems like it would be useful to Bond and Bond villains alike, but even if you're just falling off your jet ski, it's nice to know that this is a watch that can take a hit and keep on ticking precisely. Realistically, this tritone Omega Seamaster is something almost unique. While it hails from a well-known and iconic family of modern dive watches, it's an example, it's a reference, it's a variant that you're probably never going to see again. I know that in all my time reviewing exotic watches, high horology watches, limited editions, boutique manufacturers, even piece-unique watches, I can say that I've only ever seen one of these tritone Seamasters. This is a rare bird, or should I say, a rare fish. If you want to see the Seamaster Professional Diver Chronograph, 41.5 millimeters in titanium, 18 karat rose gold, and tantalum, an outstanding survivor of a rare breed, check it out on our website, watchyouwant.com. It just may be the chronograph watch you want.